We're going to open up the June 17th, 2000 Ocoee City Council meeting. We'll have the invocation by Mr. Hart, then we'll have a pledge of allegiance by the Boy Scouts of America group here tonight. Boys and girls, come on up. We'll give it to you in just a minute. Y'all can come up front and do the pledge after the prayer. Come on up here and stand right here.
Just wait for the prayer.
We'll get the prayer over with. All right?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you through your abundant grace and mercy. You've allowed us to come together to conduct the city's business. And Father, we pray that you help us to not only act with wisdom, but act with compassion as we make our decisions that affect our citizens' daily lives. We thank you for the abundant grace you've shown us by blessing us to live in this beautiful part of your creation that we call Ocoee. And we pray that even though we may disagree, let us not disrespect or disengage from one another, but to continue to work together as brothers and sisters. And as always, we pray that you will watch over our first responders, our police and fire departments, be with them on every call and comfort their families as their loved ones go out to watch over us. You will watch over them. We're so careful to give you the praise, the honor, and the glory you do. In your Son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right. Who's leading it? All of them? Okay.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job. Thank you. What troop are you? 214.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Here.
Commissioner Wilson,
Here.
Mayor Johnson,
Here.
Commissioner Firstner is absent, Commissioner Oliver.
Here.
All right. Presentations, proclamations. First, I would like all of the Boy and Girl Scouts to stand up and see if we can get the camera. Come on up front. All of you come up here in the front. Can we get somebody with the camera to come out and take a picture of them? Just line up across, tight as you can across the front, like a square knot.
I didn't tell you that would happen.
Y'all slide just a little bit more. Come down and center yourself. Come over a little. There you go. Now,
Alyssa, Cleo, Alina, scoot forward, and everybody else scoot in behind them.
there you go.
Brooklyn, find a window.
How about just the phone?
Elijah, switch spots with Brooklyn. Cameron's gonna go. Cameron, scoot over. Tupac, scoot closer to Lou.
There you go.
That's what I tried. That's what I tried to tell him.
You kind of line yourself up.
Hey, girls, y'all come over. Come on over.
You kind of line
Y'all-
yourself
oh, there you go.
Elijah, switch with Cameron. Elijah and Cameron, switch. I know my heights. There we go.
And just whatever you do, just don't block that lovely lady behind you.
There you go.
All right, there you go. Looking good.
Smile, Alyssa.
One more just to make sure.
Come on, smile.
I see that in the back.
These are not your mug shots.
Thank you.
He's got it, don't worry.
Thank you very much. Where, are you Ocoee? Or is it Ocoee?
Actually, we are our troop located in Winter Park, but majority of our scouts are located in Ocoee and travel over there. So
All right, great. Thank you.
Awesome.
No pressure.
No.
I didn't tell him anything.
All right. I got I'm going to read the proclamation for the Juneteenth Independence Day. All right. Whereas America's Independence Day movement, initiated by the Declaration of Independence and the 4th of July, 1776, did not include enslaved African Americans as they were not recognized as full human beings. Freedom from slavery was initiated by the enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, and formally announced by Union General Gordon Granger in Galveston, Texas on the 19th of June, 1865. Through the reading of General Order Number 3 to the last group of slaves in bondage, creating America's second Independence Day celebration, Juneteenth, Independence Day, observed on the 19th of June as the oldest African-American holiday. And whereas the 19th of June is the freedom forerunner to the 13th Amendment, which implemented freedom for all slaves in the United States. June the 10th, Independence Day completes the cycle of Independence Day celebrations in America. In 1997, the 105th Congress of the United States passed Senate Joint Resolution 11 and House Joint Resolution 56, officially recognizing Juneteenth Independence Day in America. And whereas the Juneteenth celebration commemorates the emancipation of Southern states, blacks, on June 19, 1865, 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation by Abraham Lincoln. The memory of all those who moved from slavery to freedom remains a lesson for all Americans regardless of their background, race, or religion. And whereas the Florida legislature issued an apology on March the 26, 2008, expressing profound regret for the shameful history of enslaving black people and passing laws that sanction involuntary servitude upon generations of African slaves. And whereas on June the 18th, 2024, President Joe Biden signed into law a bill creating a federal holiday to commemorate Juneteenth. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Ocoee, does hereby proclaim June the 19th, 2025 as Juneteenth Independence Day. For all Americans, as a time to learn more about our common past and to better understand the experiences that have shaped our nation. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Ocoee, Florida, to be affixed this 17th day of June, 2025. Rusty Johnson, Mayor. This will be hanging in our lobby, out in the lobby after tomorrow. Got another little thing here we want to do. Mr. and Mrs. Robert Zorn, would you like to come up front? We're going to try to get your picture too. Will you come on up front? I'll do a little bit of talking and explain. Does anybody else? Millie, get the cameraman back out. Come on up front. I want to tell everybody. Hey, good to see you again. Good to see you, sir. You been riding that bicycle? Huh? Yes, ma'am. Just got back. Good to see you. I want to say real quick, these two young people, I had somebody that called me and wanted to recognize them, but I've seen them when I ride by out on the Ocoee-Popka Road, and I've seen them out there in the hot sun, walking down the road, picking up trash. Now, these are two citizens that I think deserve a great hand of applause from our crowd here. When I went out to their home, and probably interrupted them from doing something, but I know Ms. Zorn was at the grocery store. She rode her bicycle over to Publix. She's got a lot more nerve than I do. But I give them the coin from the city, and I wanted them to come up here and get recognized tonight by all the citizens. And let's put it on pictures, get some pictures of you where we can put it in our on our TV and stuff where people can see you. So I don't want to say anything about your age, but I'm going to tell you, how do you stand walking down that road and hot as it is and doing what you're doing? That's good. But no, as a mayor of Ocoee, I want to personally thank you for all your time that you do this, and take honor and proud to be doing what you're doing for the city of Ocoee and our. I know. Well, I appreciate that very much. I can give you some other streets if you'd like to. Anybody want to make a comment?
Oh, we've already broadened our
Have you?
territory.
Well, how long you been doing it?
Well, here, 6 years,
6 years.
but up in Gainesville, we were doing it.
I know. Yep. Well, we're glad you're here now. So we'll get you a picture when it gets made. I'll get a picture for you and have it. Let's have another one with the commissioner standing up here behind it too. You come right over and center it up like we'll not do like the Boy Scout and Girl
Tim will
Scouts.
straighten you out here.
There you go.
Is there anything to give to them yet, or not? Nothing to hand?
I already gave it to them. I went to their house.
Oh, okay. Have you stuff to your right, just a couple of steps? There you go, perfect. Do a vertical one for this. vertical for them.
We'll get the pictures. Remember, guys, we need to get the pictures when they get made. We'll bring them out to you, or you can come back. Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Yes, sir. Thank you. You're welcome to come back anytime you want. All right. Staff reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few items this evening. The first one is regarding item number 2 on the agenda, on the consent agenda, approval of the Florida Springs Grant Agreement from Florida Department of Environmental Protection. And this is for the sewer connections project in our downtown. DEP notified us yesterday that they had a few tweaks to make to the agreement. And so we're pulling it off the agenda, and it'll be back on July 15th. So there's actually nothing negative about it. It's just item number 2, the septic to sewer grant from Florida Department of Environmental Protection. We're going to pull that, and we'll bring it back on the July 15th meeting on the consent agenda. Okay? The second thing I have is there's a PowerPoint that's on the dais printed out for you, and I just want to give you the heads up on this. I met with Duke Energy on Monday, and this is an outstanding program that they offer. They haven't been in our community in a very long time with this program, and it's a neighborhood energy improvement program, and it's an income qualified program, and they've identified already almost 2,700 homes in the city that potentially would qualify based on data they have. That's not an exhaustive map in there. I will have them come back first meeting in August to present, and they're planning on renting the Lakeshore Center on August 12th to have a dinner community meeting, and we'll be working with them to promote that for people to come in and sign up for this program. But on page 8 of the presentation, there is a lot of value that some of our citizens can get through the program absolutely free, ranging from LED light bulbs all the way to attic insulation being installed. And so we're very excited about it. Wanted to just bring that to your attention so you know that's going to be coming back. We'll have Duke here first meeting in August, but we're already working with them. And the good news about it is they have budget for this, so they're going to pay for a dinner. They're going to pay to rent the Lakeshore Center. And this is strictly a Duke program for our community. And they haven't been in Ocoee and Winter Garden in quite some time, so they're going to be doing Ocoee and Winter Garden at the same time. So we'll bring back the item and have them do a brief presentation to you. First commission meeting in August, okay? August 5th. And they are tentatively holding the Lakeshore Center for a booking for August 12th. And that would be, they would have their presentation and dinner at 6 p.m. Okay, the second thing, we received the financials for the month of May for Forest Lake Golf. Printed out copies on the dais for you. And while we're on Forest Lake, this is just a reminder that RFP number 25-006 for the lease and operation of the Forest Lake Golf Club is currently open with submittals due by August 5th. The pre-bid meeting was held yesterday, and 7 companies attended the mandatory pre-bid meeting held at Forest Lake. Also a reminder that during this period, there must be no ex parte communication with any companies intending to submit. And the commission will have opportunity to review all submissions along with the recommended short list prepared by the evaluation committee. And we'll be happy to continue to keep the commission up to date on that. But August 5th is just around the corner, and we should have some outstanding proposals. The next thing I have it's just a reminder that in case you haven't seen it, the legislature passed the state budget just past midnight this morning. The budget is $1.5 billion less than last year, and it now goes to the governor to sign. He's expected to veto a lot of projects, but we do have $1 million still in the state budget to go towards the new fire station project, so we're hopeful that maybe he won't veto our project. One other item of note is that the legislature has now provided or granted the Governor's Office of Policy and Budget the ability to review local government budgets as part of its DOGE efforts, in particular when it comes to projects receiving state funding. So there will be more on that later in those requirements. And then I had two final things. We'll try to keep those brief. I wanted to have Mr. Krug from Public Works give you a quick update on the sidewalk program and asphalt repaving. And then I will call up Jennifer Bowling, our Director of Utilities, to give you a very brief update on some of the water-related things coming out of Tallahassee and how we're responding to those, and Orange County for that matter. While he's pulling that up, I will also mention that I did meet with Byron Brooks, the county administrator, last week, and I covered a number of items, including the CRA proposal, and we had a good discussion about that. Did remind him, and he's been sent a copy of the letter the commission authorized, which you should be receiving tomorrow via email, regarding the traffic signal at Apopka Island and McCormick Road. That is on their radar, and we are having dialogue about that. I know Commissioner Oliver is probably going to mention that too. All right, Steve.
Thank you. City Manager, Mayor, Commissioners. Before I give this quick update on resurfaced sidewalks, I want to thank the Scouts for being here. My first experience in public speaking and project management was on the road to Eagle Scout, and I hate to say it, but it's probably been almost 50 years. I didn't want to figure out the math since I did my citizenship in the community merit badge. Whew. Time flies. Well, let's talk about some resurfacing and sidewalk update, just to let you know what's going on. On the website we maintain, if you looked, these are just snapshots. This is not the active website. If you go to the city website and you scroll down to the common requests, you can see where I've circled there a road resurfacing and sidewalk repairs tab. If you click on that, if you take to the road resurfacing, you can see we've just updated it this morning. We update it weekly as we're going through the program, and if we get intermittent updates, we also, as soon as we get new information, just to let you know what's going on with those. You can see on this, and where it says completed McGuire Road, if you scroll down, you would see there's additional information on that we completed the vineyards. We're in Silver Bend right now. We'll have a little bit of night work Thursday on Bonus Road, and that should wrap it up. And beyond just putting information on the website, the contractor also puts door hangers out. So we're pretty easy, it's pretty concise, easy to track there. Now let's talk sidewalks. What I'm showing you here, City Manager Chadrick's Champion has asked us to develop something that we can track this because sidewalks are such a big issue. Right now, with what the commission approved for this year, we have digitized and issued work orders for construction replacement for all the known called in, emailed, and GovPilot requests. And you'll see a lot of dots on there. You'll also see in the upper right-hand corner, there's a lot of dots. We currently have the team walking through the city, starting in the northeast corner, going in a clockwise rotation, documenting all the sidewalk issues that no one's ever called in on, that aren't known. Now with those, we're hopefully coming back with something in the budget for next year that we can address. But like each one because of some of the technology available, we can send team members out with a special app that drops a pin at every location. They can measure it and we get quantities. We can download the list to a contractor and forward it out and get it resolved. So that's what we're working on. This dashboard is not yet available for the general public. It's on our GIS, and we're going to be presenting it also to city manager get some tweaks, but if you notice that we're not trying to be particular in A, you'll see District 4 has the most right now. That's because that's where they've started locating. But we expect as we go through the city, we'll see a lot of things, and then we can track them. And with that, do you have any questions?
I have a question.
Just an example. I meant to bring it up too. Like, for example, what we're running into, what started all this, we just did a bunch of concrete work on Sabinal in Prima Vista. We're working in some other areas in District 2, but we also realized we did one house where there had been a call. The whole street had a lot of issues. What we've done is gone back and had the contractor said, we want you to finish out this street. They've called in locates so that they'll have those all done this week, and they'll be back in there, because we want to complete as many streets instead of just hitting little areas. And that's what our goal is ultimately. But that's where we're at right now.
I have a question. Does that include grinding?
We're looking to replace.
You're looking to
Generally, when we grind, that's more of a temporary. If somebody were to call us and say, hey, we got an issue, if we could grind it, we'll do it, but we know there's a root or some other cause lifting it, so we'd rather take care of it right now.
And on the website, do you still, since you're doing a survey and an inventory, which I think looks fantastic, I love that, do people still need to call Public Works, or do they go to the website and submit? Do you still want?
They
that,
can,
and how do they do that?
yeah, if they would still call us, we hopefully will also have it digitized shortly. And the goal is so that people, once we get this public, they can look and say, hey, I wonder if I need to call this in. And if they go to the address, they'll see a dot there and say, oh, they already know about it. Here's when they plan on getting it taken care of. Or, hey, this says they finished something here. This must be something new.
And just to clarify what you said, if I go to my street, say I have something in front of my house, and I go to the GIS when you have it available, and there's a dot near my house, you're going to do that street, or do I still need to let you know that there's some in front of my house?
It wouldn't hurt to call or to submit a Gov pilot request. That's the most tractable.
Thank
And
you.
we're actually taking the Gov pilot requests, and when they go out, if because there's a number associated with that, then we can tag it on that and tie them all together.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, Gov pilot is what the city has on their website. I don't know if it says Gov pilot on there. If you want to file a complaint or an issue with the city, you can go to, on the city on some of those
Submit it.
site and submit it. Report a concern, there you go.
Thank you.
They may, Doug's team. maintains it.
Sleepy Harbor Drive, which is off of White Road or Orlando Avenue, it runs down to the street that goes into the park. That thing's nothing but potholes. I know you're gonna have a lot of them, but this is the older area, and it's where all the people go to the park. And they all cut down that street on Sleepy Harbor to get to that park, Tiger Miner Park. So that also, when you're doing the paving there, and we need the paving done, but you need to put a couple of road stops, what do you call them, bumps. Because it is dangerous there. The people are flying through there, and a lot of the young people are going down to the park to play basketball or pickleball. But that road is a major thing for the people to go to that park. So, and it's full of potholes. And one other one is here coming off Silver Star Road, right here on Lakeshore, is completely been that way for I don't know how long. Potholes and asphalt gone.
We plan on doing the Lakeshore, replace that area ourselves. Probably you should see that in the next week or two.
All right, but don't forget
But we'll
about
check on Sleepy Harbor.
Drive. And I know, as Commissioner Wilson, I just had to be standing out there a couple of times talking to people when it's like a speedway through there, and plus it's like bump, 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 where all the potholes on that street. So I think it's because of the use. All right, anybody else?
Yeah.
All right,
To say that, welcome to District 2. You know,
yeah,
we are probably the one of the more established
yep.
districts in the city, and we have a lot of trees, as, I'm not telling you anything, but we have a lot of trees and a lot of sidewalks, and the trees create issues. So, again, I've had a lot reported to me, and I've reported them, and I will continue to report them as I see them. I can't walk every sidewalk, so again, we appreciate when the comments come in to let us know when you have issues. I know sometimes we see it, we forget it, and then all of a sudden, a month later, you remember it. Shoot me an email so I can let Public Works know, because they are very, again, I've got a lot of sidewalks, and I've got a lot of older sidewalks. So please continue to report them to us. It's important that we know them, and again, like the potholes, and with that street, it's Harbor, Harbour. We like to compare it to Sleepy Harbor, OR. So again, just, again, let us know when there's issues. I appreciate that.
Just a couple of questions. Commissioner Wilson mentioned the trees and the tree roots, as we have historically been planting trees right next to sidewalks. Trees will continue to grow. So what is the contingency plan to, once we fix the sidewalks, how do we keep the roots from resurfacing or damaging the sidewalk? Is there a plan in place for that? Or is there some type of technique we're using to do this?
Commissioner, we're doing root pruning when we remove the sidewalk, and I'll have to send you some pictures. You'll get a kick out of it with the roots underneath them. But we prune the roots and cut them back so that when we put the sidewalk back in and back to grade, they won't be underneath to lift up.
And it won't kill the tree?
Correct.
Okay, all right. So looking at the map that you showed, it's, again, as you mentioned, that sawmill seems to be covered in red. It has a big red rash there. And I've walked probably about 80% of those sidewalks myself. And a lot of those have been reported either by myself or HOA members and also some of the other members there. Looking at the budget for this looks like this is going to be quite an undertaking as far as the budget is concerned. I know we've already allocated some money last year for sidewalks. Are you planning on increasing that budget for this budget cycle? It looks like it's going to be probably almost double what we've already put down there. And if that is the case, what is the plan to get to where we can actually just start doing preventive maintenance as opposed to just resurfacing sidewalks?
Okay, Steve, that's a very timely question, because we're getting into the season where we're going to have some very interesting discussions starting next meeting, as a matter of fact. What I would like for us to do is budget to try to knock out, if we can, next year, get all of them fixed, okay? That's something that we're in the middle of budget prep right now, and we're doing our own version of government efficiency studies, if you will. But the goal is to try to get all of them fixed and under maintenance control, like you said, because that actually will bring down, instead of us chipping away at $300,000 a year, I may ask or request that the commission authorize us to maybe dip a little bit into the piggy bank this year. Let's knock them all out once and for all. We'll have them all mapped. We can have the contractor map them while they're repairing them. So that will strengthen our ability on the back end when people do want to go online and make a complaint. We have somebody that can go out there and just knock that little section out, and then we're no longer spending the $300,000 a year in the budget to completely redo sidewalks because they're already done. So I actually am a big proponent of that, 100%.
And finally, just one quick note. I have one community, I think it was the Remington Oaks community, working with their HOA. I think I submitted a package to you guys last year where they actually went out, took pictures, and gave landmarks as to where the sidewalks were. So again, if you attend those HOA meetings, encourage them to get involved in this process, and it will help us to identify them quickly and more efficiently.
Agreed.
That's all I got.
All right. Staff, let's see, presentation proclamations. We got
one more.
We got one more.
Are you done, Steve?
I'm done, thank you.
Director Bowling?
Right. Commissioners, Mayor, I'm here tonight to just give you a quick update on what's going on in the Utilities Department. First, I'd like to update you on fluoride. So there was a Florida Farm Bill was passed and the governor signed it into law. And the bill does not specify that you cannot add fluoride to public water systems, but the language, which includes not being able to do additives other than for water treatment, is in the bill. So we are removing fluoride from the water system. We're required to have it out of the water system by July 1st. We're essentially using up the supply that we have, and we will be in compliance with this by July 1st. I just want to let you know. We've received a lot of calls on this. Okay, the big one I'm here to talk to you tonight is about the Drinking Water Quality Report. We also call this the Consumer Confidence Report, CCR. It's got a lot of names. You receive this every single year. It is basically a summary of the water quality testing, and it assures that we are delivering safe, high-quality water to each resident. And there are new reporting requirements. So PFAS, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, we know this as forever chemicals, are heavily discussed. So we are required now to do some initial testing for this. We've gone through several testing, and we did come up with some concentrations that are above a contamination level that will require additional treatment. So in your drinking water quality report, you're going to see this table, and it's just basically called unregulated contaminants. So I want to assure you, though, that we are committed to high-quality, safe drinking water. Many utilities are working on plans and programs to address this. So the current rule requires compliance by 2029. The federal government has indicated that it will be by 2031. So what are these PFAS? PFAS is a very large category of chemicals that we are exposed to in our everyday life. Right now, the primary focus has been on public drinking water systems, but it is in, as you can see, a lot of these products. Many of you know this is initiated in Teflon. So what are we doing about it? So we conducted the initial monitoring. We're reporting it, and we are doing additional testing. So there are a lot of options that you can look at. There are treatment options, but before we go down that path, we're doing additional testing in the wells. Sometimes these are, you can find them in the upper Florida and in the more shallow wells, so there's opportunities to just drill a lower well. Those little green things right there, those are called GAC systems, granular activated carbon. They look like minions. They're basically used to filter out the water. So we're looking at treatment options for that as well. But right now, we are in full compliance with the law, and we are just in the early phases for additional testing. We are on target to meet the 2029 deadline, even if it is extended. I want to give you a quick water conservation update. You're going to see our program ramp up for many reasons. One, we've really concentrated coming out of COVID in establishing a stronger relationship with our community and our customers. The Spring Into Conservation event is pretty popular. We hold tables at picnics. I just want to let you know that we're going to be sending out high water user notifications. These are just notifications to let you know you're one of our 50 highest water users. We have programs in place that can help you. We're also going to be continuing, we have a continuous use notification in case any of you have received those. We do once a week run a report on our meter system. If we see that there is continuous use, we will reach out to someone. We leave a door tag and we let them know, check your faucets, check your sometimes leaky irrigation systems if the solenoids are stuck. And that's really been a pretty popular program and helped a lot. You'd be surprised how large your bill could be when you don't get those. The irrigation rule, which is the days and times that you can irrigate, that applies to potable water. We are required to maintain this program per St. John's. So we will be reaching out to those that are irrigating on the wrong day and time, the high water users. We have a water conservation coordinator that is available to do irrigation evaluations and also to assist with the irrigation controller. And last but not least, I'm pretty excited about this one. We are developing a pilot program for a smart irrigation controller, and it would be a rebate program. There are opportunities that we're exploring with the Water Management District. In this case, we are opening the program up to reclaimed water users as well. This is one of the measures that we're trying to put to assist customers with using less water as we work through the irrigation rate hike. So that's going to be coming your way. We have an irrigation controller. It's a ratio. It's a control that you actually do not have to have a subscription for. You can see everything on your phone, and it's pretty easy and user-friendly. We have actually tested this at the Utilities Department. We traded out our irrigation controller to make sure that what we are providing to residents is something that's user-friendly. And that's kind of your update right now. Any questions?
Thank you very much. That's great. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I just hope that residents understand the census program, where you can go on and watch what water your usage every day. I find that fascinating. I don't know if a lot of people are registered to receive that. If you're on Ocoee water, you gotta make sure, because some of our folks are on county. But that census program to where they can look and see what you're using every day, I think it's fascinating to look at your household consumption.
It's an invaluable program that we hope residents will really take advantage of. We only have so much staff that can contact someone when there's continuous use, but a bill could easily be a couple $100 just from a leaky toilet.
Well, if I didn't have that, I mean, I wouldn't have found the leak in the house that we had replumbed, but it's the aspect that you just see what you're using, and every day when you look at what you're using, I find that fascinating. Again, you can even tell, like, when you're using the washing machine a lot, and one day, all of a sudden the bars just go up, so it's an interesting app to look at.
When your irrigation controller goes wonky and it's irrigating every day, it can let you know that you're trending to high usage.
So, sign up for it.
Real quick, just crazy question. How much money do we save when fluoride gets cut out?
Is it 25,000? 35,000 a year.
There you go. Spend that on building new sewer facilities.
Well, hopefully we'll have more projects coming your way on that too.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you. All right, let's see, staff report. You did that, didn't you already?
That's it. Thank
All
you.
right, public comments. I have one paper filled out here. Doug Gumber. Where is where's the supervisor?
Doug Gomber, 405 Misty Meadow Road. Good evening, commissioners and staff and fellow citizens. I have just one request. About 2 months ago, you guys came out with a program that was absolutely brilliant called Encompass 2045. We've heard virtually nothing about it since then. I was wondering if we could get an update as to when, how, is this going to be implemented sometime before I die? It seems like it's just gone away.
Mayor, if I could, I'd like to ask Ms. Corliss to come forward. That's a good question from Mr. Gomber. When we transmitted that document, we sent it out for review by a bunch of agencies awaiting, their comments. And Ginger's going to give you an update on the schedule.
Ginger Corliss, Development Services Director. We're excited about 2045 as well. We had to, by state statutes, of course, submit it to the state as well as to our agencies that are surrounding us, the municipalities as well as the state agencies with that. We've had very few comments coming back from the standpoint of questions or issues, even from the state. We're still missing a couple that we're waiting on for clarification, but we are planning to bring back the 2045 to the commission at the July 15th, right, date, for adoption. So we're excited. So once we get that adopted, then we will also be doing outreach to our community to continue to let us know what we're going to be doing with that. So we have a lot of plans as it relates to making sure people are aware of it. So thank you. Any questions on 2045?
Does that include, that's the comp?
That's the comp plan, I'm sorry. The
Does that
2045
include
vision is the
land
comp plan.
Development update, is that finalized?
Okay, what we're working on, in fact, tomorrow night, we have a PZ, Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and we're going to be having a dialogue with the board as it relates to some of the, kind of the overreaching as it relates to looking at types of zoning areas, looking at the districts, taking what we have in the 2045 comp plan, how does it apply to LDC? So we'll be having a dialogue tomorrow as it relates to that. So we'll be coming back later this summer to the commission to provide an update in full. So we're still working on it very hard.
And we will be requesting, authorization to have another community meeting about the land development code like we did for the comp plan.
Correct.
Okay, all right. That, like I said, that was the only public comment paper fill out. We'll go to the consent agenda. Remember, number 2's been pulled, so we only have one, number 1. So, motion made by Commissioner Wilson to approve. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. He was fast on the gun there. All right, any more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Ferstner in Portugal. All right, let's go down and skip first reading of ordinance, nothing. Second reading of ordinance, public hearings. Number 3, second reading of ordinances for 524, 518, and 508 Woodson Avenue, Legacy Homes, LLC, annexation and rezoning from Orange County, Florida. Our planner, Belizaire?
Belizaire, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Tonight I'll be presenting on the Legacy Homes FL LLC annexation and rezoning for their properties located at 524, 518, and 508 Woodson Avenue. For issues, it is whether or not the Honorable Mayor and City Commission should make an approval of the proposed annexation from Orange County into the City of Ocoee, as well as the rezoning from Orange County R1 to City of Ocoee R1A. So some background on the properties. They are all located west of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street. In total, all 3 lots are about 1.11 acres. The properties are eligible for annexation because they are adjacent to other city properties, eligible for city water services, as well as reduce the amount of existing enclaves. They are also consistent with the JPA future land use map, which is low-density residential. Here we have an aerial of the 3 lots. This is our surrounding zoning map showing those R1A city properties. And this is our future land use map, again, showing the low-density residential designations. So for recommendations, the Development Review Committee, as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission, reviewed the applications and are making a recommendation of approval for the annexation and rezoning. And similarly, staff is also making a recommendation to the Mayor and City Commission to approve the proposed annexation and rezoning from Orange County R1 to City of Ocoee R1A for the Legacy Homes FL LLC properties located at 524, 518, and 508 Woodson Avenue. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, you ready?
I am. This is a handful, as you'll recall. First is the annexation ordinance for 524 Woodson. And I should point out that staff has arranged this so that the northernmost property goes first, because that is the one that is contiguous, and then we work our way down south. An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately 0.35 acres located at 524 Woodson Avenue, on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the update of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, and providing for an effective date. The next one is the rezoning ordinance for 524 Woodson. An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R1, Single-Family Dwelling District, to City of Ocoee R1A, Single-Family Dwelling District, on certain real property containing approximately 0.35 acres located at 524 Woodson Avenue, on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted to by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. The next is the annexation ordinance for 518 Woodson Avenue, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately .38 acres located at 518 Woodson Avenue, on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the update of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, and providing for an effective date. Next is the rezoning ordinance for 518 Woodson Avenue, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R1, Single-Family Dwelling District, to City of Ocoee R1A, Single-Family Dwelling District, on certain real property containing approximately .38 acres located at 518 Woodson Avenue, on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, prevailing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Next is the annexation ordinance for 508 Woodson Avenue, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately .38 acres located at 508 Woodson Avenue, on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the update of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, and providing for an effective date. Finally, the rezoning ordinance for 508 Woodson Avenue, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R1 Single-Family Dwelling District to City of Ocoee R1A Single-Family Dwelling District on certain real property containing approximately .38 acres located at 508 Woodson Avenue, on the west side of Woodson Avenue and south of Center Street, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. That is it.
All right, well, we're going to open the public hearing. Anybody have any questions on item number 3 for the reading of ordinances for 524, 518, and 508 Woodson? All right, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back up to the dais. Anybody have any comments? If not, what we'll do is do the planning and zoning, we'll do the annexation first and then the zoning.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion made, and that includes all 3.
Do I have to say it?
We'll have to do them separately.
I'd like to do them separately because they're all separate ordinances.
Okay, 6.
There's
All
going to be
right.
6 of them, I'm sorry.
Okay,
So
all
my
right,
question-
first is 50, let's see, where am I?
524, let's start with 524.
524.
I'll make that motion for
Motion made from
524.
Commissioner Wilson for annexation. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. Any more comments? No more comments, let's vote. All right, we do 518 for annexation. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. Any more comments? If not, let's vote. All right, 508, annexation. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. No more comments? Let's vote. All right, now we're going to go back to 524 for rezoning. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Kennedy. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Any more comments? Not, let's vote. All right, 518 for rezoning. Do I hear a motion?
Motion made.
Motion by Commissioner Kennedy. Do I hear a second?
I'm giving someone else the opportunity. I'll second, I'm giving.
Second by
Let's
Commissioner.
stick with the program.
Second by
Let's stick with the
Commissioner.
program here.
Second by Commissioner Wilson.
No.
No more comments? Let's vote.
I'm just giving others the opportunity.
I need a motion for 508 for rezoning.
I make the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Kennedy. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. All right, let's vote. Vote on that one.
Boy, that's a long one.
Yeah.
All right.
You agreeable to this?
All unanimous.
Welcome to District 2.
Did all the
We got a
votes
good
come
system
in?
going down there.
Melody? Did all the votes get through there? Okay, all right. Thank you. Public hearing, we have none. All right, item number 4, regular agenda. Approval of code enforcement board reappointments and discussion on changing meeting day. All right. You up?
I'm up. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So the staff report before you tonight is two-part. The first part of the staff report would be for the reappointment of the board members. We have 3 regular member seats who terms are set to expire at the end of this month. Of the 3 members, 2 have submitted an application for reappointment. That would be members Joe Bander and Lonnie Skoltz. I did provide their attendance for 2024. Member Banders did attend all scheduled meetings, and Member Schultz attended 8 of the 9 meetings. So for that, we would just need a motion for a reappointment for another 3-year term.
All right, do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion
For both of them,
for
right?
both of them.
Motion been made for, you need to name them off, Melanie, real quick in the motion?
So this would be a motion to approve the reappointment of Joe Bander and Lonnie Skoltz to the Code Enforcement Board for another 3-year term to end June 2028.
All right, Commissioner Wilson made that motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Oliver. Any more comments?
I have a comment. I noticed when I looked at the roster, we're not following what we're doing on other boards with representation from each district. There's no one from District 3 on code enforcement. I have 2, George has 2, Rosemary has 3. Commissioner Firstner doesn't have any.
Well, that's his responsibility, really, to put them on there. We've talked to him about it for the last couple of meetings. So I think we let him pick them.
Well, we're filling up the slot, so if we reappoint Schultz, that's 3 from 2.
I did want to just add, member William Mann is also up because there were 3. He did not respond back.
So that'll be a vacant.
So that would be a vacancy if we don't receive anything.
And I do have an applicant for that slot.
Do you?
Yes.
And then we have 2 vacant alternate positions, which if,
You put the new name on there, Ravi, the new one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last month, we had, last meeting, Ravi Beckram was added.
Yeah.
And he is on the roster.
So,
I just don't think, no offense, I don't think 2 should have 3 members when everyone else has 2 and he doesn't have any. It's just not following what we've done with the other boards.
but if you don't bring someone forward, then you find interested parties. So we have alternate members that could go vacant positions, so they could come from 3, but we don't seem to have a lot of folks that come from District 3 that join our boards. So you have to fill the positions with folks who are willing to serve.
Well, and I agree with that. I think my point would be that it appears from the history that that board has had a hard time making quorum and holding meetings, so I don't know that, I would say willing to serve means showing up.
Well, Ms. Schultz has been 8 of the 9 meetings, which I think is quite a bit.
But that,
And
with
Mr.
respect, that includes the ones where they had meetings because they had quorum, but they've not had meetings because they can't get quorum. Do we know if those people were available for quorum when that was checked? Because if so, I'd agree with you.
Yes, so I did attach to the staff report the code enforcement attendance. It says attendance for 2025, but what I had the board clerk do was put an N for no, couldn't make it, or a Y for yes, they would be able to make it. So for Mr. Bander, he did announce at the October meeting that he would not be available at the January meeting, but for February, he responded he would be available, and for March, he did not respond. And for Lonnie Schultz, you'll see that she responded January, February, March, that she would be available to attend.
Okay,
Well,
thank you.
some of those, I don't have a district. I can appoint people that's not in the district, any district. So what's your person?
I think that's more than fair, because again, we have two vacant, you're at large, so you're right, you should be able to
That's what I'm
appoint
saying, yeah.
members from any district, so it may be overloaded on one district or another, so your point will be a moot point if he appointed two people from one district. It's still gonna be an overload either way it goes, so.
Well, the point of it is having somebody for that. If we have people that are open and able to do it, and the district's not doing it, then we can, I think we need to fill it, because Planning and Zoning Board is one of the major boards, I think, beside ours too. But I think we need to appoint people. If, I know, Mr. Firstner is having a hard time getting somebody down there. So, you know, we put somebody on there, we can't afford not to have somebody on there. So,
And it's very important we get our alternates in there also, so that we don't run into the same situation
so
this month.
who's on the list that we could put on there? With those two that you just called out?
Right.
Is there an opening after we put those two on there?
There would be the opening of William Mann's seat, and I know Commissioner Oliver said he has an application. Currently, I don't have any other applications other than the ones I've
Is that application turned in?
We need,
It's not turned in yet, but he's ready to turn the application in.
All right.
And there's still,
we need to recommend alternates. So-
there's still vacant, yeah.
Okay, fair enough, thank you. Good discussion.
All right, so give that to, all right, we need to vote
By the end of
on,
the week.
we need to vote on the two we just got.
Ms. Schultz,
Huh?
Ms. Schultz and Mr. Bander?
Yeah.
Yep.
Correct.
All right, let's
Becky?
vote.
Okay.
All right, it carries unanimously with Commissioner Firstner also going to Spain.
The second half of the staff report was just a discussion on, at the May 20th meeting, there was discussion on the cancellation of the November and December meeting. And I think there were concerns due to the cancellation of those meetings. What I did was just provide the history of
Go ahead, I got a question about that.
I provided the history of when the meetings started being canceled by the board, but we were proposing that if the commission wanted those meetings to continue as scheduled, you can consider changing the meeting day to the third Thursday of each month to avoid the conflicts with the holidays.
Well, I think we need to do it. I mean, the only time we're going to cancel if it's, the holiday falls right on our meeting time. So I think if that's not falling on their meeting times, why would we not have it?
The
Planning and
third
zoning's like that.
Thursday?
Huh?
You said the third Thursday?
The third
That's the
Thursday.
red light hearing.
This would be in the evening.
Oh,
Evening.
okay.
In the evening, yes. So I think historically, their meetings fell the week of the holiday because it's on a Tuesday. It didn't fall on the actual holiday, just that week.
All right, well,
I'm agreeable to that. I think it's very disrespectful to our neighbors who have issues that come up
Yep.
in October and they're not addressed till January. And if any of you live next door to someone who may be an issue, you find out that you're waiting 3 months. And that's, I think that's something that we need to rectify as a commission. So I'm in favor of us changing the meeting date, and hopefully that's going to work with the folks who are on
yeah.
the code enforcement board. They can adjust their schedule to do that.
All right, you, Commissioner Oliver?
Yes.
All right.
In favor.
You want to, somebody need to make a motion to that, Finn?
I'll be happy to make the motion to change the meeting date
Can I-
for code enforcement.
I'm sorry.
Do I need to say?
We do have a meeting coming up this month for code enforcement, so I will get with staff so that we can transition them into that Thursday.
Should I say as soon as possible, that you can fit that? Because if we run with these dates, The issue comes when November and December. So should I just say as soon as possible? So that
Yeah.
it gives you some leeway for folks to also change their schedules?
I think that would be,
Okay,
You made the motion?
yes.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by, motion made by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. Any more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Firstner out. All right. Number 4. Nope, I'm over on number 5. Discussion and direction on plan actions in reference to code enforcement and parking concerns. Police Chief Ogburn.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. This item is brought before the Commission tonight in response to concerns raised during the May 6th Commission meeting, during which the Commission highlighted the need to strengthen deterrence against motorists who disregarded the no parking signage and failed to comply with the existing traffic management measures. Since that time, in collaboration with other staff members, we've conducted a review of best management practices and developed a comprehensive set of policy and enforcement recommendations. And these recommendations are designed to enhance the parking compliance and improve the overall effectiveness of code enforcement efforts. One, I would like to summarize the current parking enforcement ordinances, highlight relevant sections from Code of Ordinance and Land Development Code, identify enforcement authority and procedural steps, and seek recommendations from the Commission for consideration. Currently, under City Ordinance Chapter 168, the Chief of Police is authorized to report violators with 3 or more unpaid citations to DHSMV. The violators may be blocked from renewing vehicle registrations according to Florida State Statute 320. That means you put a lien on their registration. They cannot renew their tag until they come into compliance with their parking violations. The police department issues citations. We handle the towing and the mobilization and the assessable lienable fees. Many times parking violations take place within both public and private areas. Code enforcement is primarily responsible for the parking violations on private property, and the police department is responsible for violations within the road right-of-ways or on public property. The prohibited parking areas, there's no parking on unauthorized zones on public or private property. It's illegal to occupy unimproved surfaces or block required open space. And the enforcement includes warning, citations, towing, or immobilization. Overnight parking of RVs, trailers, or boats is prohibited unless permitted. As you can see right there, the tongue of the RV is on the sidewalk. Parking must not interfere with required open space or visual aesthetics. The home occupation parking rules, no excessive traffic or heavy equipment associated with home businesses. All parking must be on-site and screened from view, and parking in a right-of-way or on sidewalk is prohibited. So recommendations and our next steps. Currently, the parking fine violation is $40. We recommend the Commission to consider increasing the minimum fine on parking citations. Second citation being $75, the third one being $100, and the fourth citation, $250, which also can include the towing or the immobilization of the vehicle at the owner's expense. Recommendations also for the Commission to consider when parking violations in no parking areas. Give you 2 options. One is we could put the 48-hour sticker notice on the window, issue a parking citation after that 48-hour time period, and after that you can either mobilize or tow the vehicle. Or option B, 48-hour sticker notice. After the 48 hours, we would tow it or immobilize it, and both of those tow and immobilizations will be at the owner's expense. Code enforcement recommendations, pardon me. A new snipe sign strategy of multiple daily scans of corridors with weekend support from the patrol officers. Recommend a commission authorize the staff to conduct sweeps of all areas, beginning with the downtown redevelopment area. And thirdly, recommend commission to authorize code officers to seek maximum fines for all violations. Currently, up to $250 for their first offense. Second offense is $500, and the first offense is $250. Second is we mistypo here. I'm getting confused here. Second is $500, and the last is irreparable or it's $5,000 for the third fine. A revamped foreclosure program, which would take the foreclosure from the code board and give it to the commission to make that approval. And these are just some of the issues that we encounter or the calls we get. And Mike, you want to add anything? That's it. That's the end of my.
All right. I think we're going to have some discussions, I hope. I'll let any commissioners want to talk first before anybody want to start it?
A lot to talk.
I'll start it.
All right, we'll start down here with Commissioner Kennedy.
I want the highest level of enforcement and the most punitive level of fining. I got a red light camera ticket the other day. It was $158. And I accidentally got caught hamstrung and had to run the light downtown. I think that's completely different than intentionally and deliberately parking in a no parking zone. And so the fine should be at least that much. I like the 48-hour notice with the fine, and I like the immobilization and the towing. And I don't know if there's a statutory maximum, but whatever it is, I recommend that.
A statutory maximum of what?
Or the no parking in the state. I don't know if you have a limit.
I don't.
You're doing 100 in the speed zone, right? And
Yes.
158 on the red light, so it should be more than the red light.
So that would be adjusting, Mike Rimmer, Assistant City Manager, that'd be adjusting the first parking ticket afforded in the city ordinance, which is presently $40, raising that minimum to what the extent by statute, which
Yeah.
may be an up to number. Okay, got that?
That's my recommendation.
But on his suggestion, but when you do the red light tickets and like some of these people don't pay the 40 or whatever it is, they don't get their license held. You'll get your license held if you don't do the red light camera. So how do we enforce that? Is it by going through the state and taking their tag or something, or what?
We would have to create a spreadsheet in which we would supply that to DHSMV, and we can put the hold on it, just like we do with red light cameras.
Right, because that's what's going to have to happen, because it won't
be paid.
We're looking at, we would be using a spreadsheet initially, but we're looking at software that would integrate within the police's, citation software management system so that we could issue those reports directly to the state. But in the immediate interim, we'd be doing spreadsheets.
You got any more, Commissioner Kennedy?
No, sir.
Commissioner Wilson?
Okay, let me make sure I understand this. You want to go from 40 to 75 for a first offense?
That's what he was proposing.
That's what you're proposing, is the 40, from 40 to 75 for parking violation. Is that after we give the 48-hour notice?
Yes, the 48-hour would be the first
48-hour notice, then
sticker on the window, yes, ma'am,
if they don't move it?
after 48 hours.
Okay, what happens when that person, okay, today they move it. Tomorrow they come back and park it again in the same place, and we end up, well, now we give them another sticker, and
Restart.
we've got to stop that, because we know we have repeat offenders. We know that people, if you didn't catch me today, you don't catch me tomorrow, but then I move the car and I come back.
That will be the importance of that spreadsheet, and to hopefully later on research and procure some software that would let us know that once we arrive to the vehicle, put the license plate in, we'll be able to tell us the second or third violation.
The second or third offense that they were given a
Citation.
sticker.
No, after the sticker, they can remove the sticker is what you're saying, and then they come back and park it again.
Tomorrow.
That's a second violation.
That's a second, so they're noticed on the first one, that's still continued. It's not that I took the car and moved it. People like to play games.
Yes.
We know that. And they think you're not going to get me. You know, it's the idea that, and they annoy neighbors. They park up on the grass, again, I know you're handling code enforcement. Okay. I'm in agreement. What's the 500 and 1,000 or 5,000? Give me,
Yeah.
kind of
Remember,
come
there's-
back on
there's-
that one a
there's
little
two
bit.
actions. There's parking in the right-of-ways, and there's parking on private property. Parking on private property is code enforcement.
Correct.
It's just under the code enforcement umbrella, any code fine, tall grass, the first code, the first violation, the code board or the magistrate can fine up to $250. The second offense would be up to $500.
Okay.
Those fines are set by the code board or the magistrate. So one thing that the chief's going to implement now that they're over code enforcement is a staff recommendation that the maximum fine be assessed across the board per violation. So that's the 250. And if the issue is irreplaceable or in such a hazard, the fine can go up to $5,000.
Is that stopping like the 250 a day?
That's
You
the
know,
$250 a day. That's the maximum fine per
Max, and then
day.
it goes to 1,000 a day?
Then it can go up to the second offense, up to 500 per day. And then after that, it would be a $5,000 fine.
Per day?
Yes. If it's egregious. It doesn't say third offense in our city ordinance. So we're looking at all these wordings as well. For instance, as Chief said, going back, that's code enforcement. Shifting back to parking, I want to make sure I summarize. For instance, there's a parking citation for $40. The chief was saying in his presentation, let's do a first, second, third, raise the fee. Commissioner Kennedy said, no, the parking is the maximum we can do by state law for the first fine.
Yeah, I don't think 40 or 75 is enough.
Doing second and a yes. And then the mayor had said, right now, the chief after 3 can notify DMV.
Yes.
We do not have a software to track that. We're going to create that tracking. The mayor said potentially do away with the 3 that goes to, if they don't pay the parking, it goes to the DMV.
And then they.
So we'll
can't
look at that
register
as
or
well.
register.
A lot of good feedback, yes.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, no, it just gets a little confusing because we're mixing
Yes.
the parking on the street with the police versus, which I know you've got code enforcement now,
yes.
and the code enforcement on private property, they're both under you.
Yes.
Under that scenario, if they're parked in their yard, which we have them up there that's got 3, 4, 5, and a motorhome,
Yes.
you write them up, but it's their home, do they get where they don't have to pay it? Because all the other code enforcement issues, if it's their home place, they don't have to pay you till they sell the house.
They get $5,000 liens.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
It's not solving the problem up there when you do that, because they don't care. They're not gonna sell their house. We got a guy up here on the north side that owes over $1 million.
Yeah, so I'm going to cover liens, the program.
So item 4 here, and Mike, you're going to cover that in more detail, but we'll be bringing back, currently, there are $3.6 million in outstanding non-homesteaded liens that we're going to bring back and propose a plan to the commission after working with the attorney to try and collect on that. But part of what Mike was going to talk to you about is the foreclosure process is very important, and that's a way to send a message, because once you foreclose on a couple of them, the word will get out very quickly. And state law prohibits anything homesteaded from being considered for foreclosure. But we've scrubbed all those out of the database, and there's still 3.6 million. So
What about the rentals? If it's not a homeowner
Absolutely.
living in it, it's a rental.
correct, those are fair game for foreclosure.
We just gotta follow through on those.
Yes.
The other problem is they're riding those cars and trucks and motorhomes across our sidewalks that are getting broke. There again, money comes back to the city. I'll let Commissioner Kennedy talk, then I got a couple things I want to say.
Well, now, no, I agree with Commissioner Kennedy's assessment of the maximum fine for the parking. I agree with that wholeheartedly. The thing that kind of caught my attention is the foreclosure. There was a mention in the presentation toward the end, the revamping of the foreclosure program and putting that responsibility back on the commission. I disagree with that. That's a legal matter. I think that should be a part of the magistrate's decision as we go through that process. And so you revamping it, I would recommend taking the commission out of that and leave that legal matter to a magistrate.
Okay, Commissioner Oliver, remember, residential is done by the code board. The commercial is done by magistrate. In our review of these ordinances and looking at the different properties that have liens, they are a majority, if not all, residential. The concern that can be raised is if we go forward with looking at those liens, we've already taken the ones out that are homesteaded. We've got to look at those properties and see which one may have a mortgage or something ahead of ours, so we don't want to go to a foreclosure and not be first in line. The problem is, a potential problem is, right now, the Code Enforcement Board for residential has the right to do liens. They could get at a meeting and initiate liens on 10, 12 houses, which all have costs which are not budgeted. So if we let the Code Enforcement Board say, we want to lien this house, then the staff has to start that lien process, which there's cost of liens. So the thought is, if we take it from the magistrate and the code board, or under just the residential, the code board, bring it to the commission, then you're authorizing going forward with that lien issue, which could be foreclosure, and then the expenditure of the funds in order to do that, which requires attorney time and all that.
Which again, we're only authorizing the attorneys to move forward. Is that what
And
we're
expending
doing?
those funds to do that, yes.
And you also mentioned that being first in line, most of the houses are going to have encumbrances anyway. So it's going to be hard to, unless you're HOA, to even get that first slot. So then it brings us back to the same issue of being able to collect on it until they sell the home. So that goes back to the mayor's point.
That's under this process, staff would be coming to the commission and saying, Commission, we've done the background work. We feel pretty solid that we're first in line. If we handle this lien, we'll see the fruits of that labor. Right now, the code board could initiate that at any time, any meeting. The chairman could call a specially called meeting, and we have no control of how many properties they say to go forward and lien. I think I've covered it. I don't think I missed anything there. But we can't take residential to the magistrate because the magistrate doesn't hear residential.
As long as there's a legal component in there, if we're just approving the ability to move forward, giving the attorney the ability to move forward in a foreclosure process, I get that, that's fine. But as far as us, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't us. I don't feel comfortable making any kind of decision on foreclosing on anyone's home, so without legal counsel doing it.
Yes.
Can you walk through that in more detail on the process? Would that be a consent agenda item, reviewing a staff report, or would we be having code enforcement hearings at the commission meetings on foreclosing?
Yeah, well, so we have not facilitated we have once on a commercial property facilitated a foreclosure, and that was done, I have to go back and check, but I think.
That was done on the agenda. I agree with that. That was to actually
Correct.
finalize the foreclosure.
Yes.
But you're saying to evaluate whether to lien.
We would do that as an internal process now. That's one of the steps we're gonna take. We have this list of liens that was 11 million. We've gone through and taken.
Time out.
Yeah.
Process-wise, that would go through the appropriate jurisdictional entity, whether it's the code board or the magistrate, okay? For the foreclosure action, though, there were authorizations we had to seek regarding that commercial property located in our downtown that came before you. And what we are saying is, and I'm sorry this got kind of mixed in, but this is part of a multi-pronged code enforcement approach, is getting tougher with properties that have accrued significant fines and liens. And so sending that message, that's really a separate item we're bringing because we've got this 3.6 million that we've had one meeting with Attorney Geller about it. We're going to propose, we're going to send these letters out. This is how we're going to handle it. We're going to show you some research from how other jurisdictions handle these, and we're going to seek direction at a subsequent meeting. The purpose tonight was to kind of give you an overview after taking a look at the parking requirements in response to comments that the mayor and I believe Commissioner Kennedy brought up at that meeting in May. And it's really a total approach, utilizing both police power and code enforcement power to try to address cleaning up our community. Because we hear the complaints, like you guys also. And so that item 4 is really something that's going to come back to the commission. But those are very valid points as far as, you know, the way it sits right now is that nothing happens until they decide to sell their property, okay? And we have the ability to execute those things at any time. We just haven't taken the opportunity to do so. And that's one of the things just generically, we'd like feedback from the commission tonight that, hey, we do want to get tougher and make a couple of examples out of these. Obviously, you know, with attention to what the law allows, because, you know, the law, rightfully so, doesn't allow you to foreclose a homesteaded property. But there's plenty of other non-homesteaded properties that have liens accruing right now, and those would possibly be good to make examples of if you chose to do that. And we do know that other communities that have done that have experienced longer periods without major violations occurring over or accumulating the way they do here.
All right.
I have one more, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I have a lot of experience leaning commercial properties and residential properties. And I know that, for example, an HOA can lien a rental property.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to Commissioner Oliver's point, that doesn't create an eviction for the people living in the home.
Correct.
And that creates a garnishment on the rent.
Yep.
Is that what you're looking at? Because I think Commissioner Oliver is right. I don't think we want to be voting to evict people from residence, and we wouldn't with the homestead people. But residential rental properties are basically commercial properties in a sense, right? It's a commercial activity. And you can lien and garnish the rents to pay back the lien in an HOA. I would be all for that.
Yep.
So if you're going to if you would look at that, and
Yes.
I like what you said, I agree, let's deal with the no parking zones, the code enforcement, strengthen code enforcement. If you want to bring back recommendations on revamping the foreclosure, I think that would be great.
Thank you.
I support that.
All right. I haven't talked yet. Hold your horses. Hey, here's the thing, while we're talking about this, let's talk about all of it. One of the things that, if you ride around our town, we got places in town that are way out of code issue. We have got to put a stop to those places if we want to take this town and clear the streets up and clear the areas up. They move in, saying they're going to do one thing, and then they do something else. I don't want to call any names out on them because everybody will do what they want, but I'm just telling you, we've got to get places where they are in the code. I'd rather have the code on somewhere to stack certain things in public and cars and everything else. Then we go out and so if somebody's got a sign, we're going to stick them a code issue. When we got places around town here that has to be coded and it's commercial. This like when you got a picture of the guy that moved in, first thing to do is park in the retention ponds. Mm-hmm. Another one's doing it over here. You go tell them they can't park in retention ponds, they're parking there anyway. So we've got to have some kind of enforcement that'll make them understand when you tell them they got to move. There's a guy that parks his trailer down here. Chief, you know how many times I've called you. He does it anyway. And there he is parked downtown with semi-trailer, right on the side where the sign says no parking, but he's still doing it. So somewhere along the line, if it's gonna be enforced for me that I can't park something in front of my house, I don't want him doing it. But and I'm not trying to be mean to citizens, but you go up on the hill, I call it the hill off Silver Star Road, there's 4, 5, 6 cars parked in the front yards. And they'll go by and write somebody up with a no tag, but they don't write that guy up with 6 cars parked. And there is an ordinance here that says you can't do that.
Mayor, I agree with you wholeheartedly, and we are looking at revamping it. That's why we brought these recommendations for the commission tonight, but we are on it.
I know everybody doesn't have to take pride in where they live. I do, and I expect that if we're getting calls about people not doing this, then everybody's got to get along and get along the process. Because any of the businesses that are here that needs to be coded, code them, because then we can address the issue with court issues. I know one, we dropped the fines years ago on somebody, and it's right back like it was before, you know, and it never gets solved. There's a house up on Willow Creek, Willow Creek over there it's off Russell. Mm-hmm. That house has been empty over 25 years. Nobody's in it. It has got grown. It's been growing up all around. And how do you like to live beside that for 25 or 30 years in your neighborhood? And we don't do anything about it. Somehow or another, there's no homeowner living in it. So why don't we go after that property and get it cleaned up and then sell it where somebody can live in a nice house and the neighbors don't have to live with it? I drive by it over there all the time, and every time I arrive, somebody says to me, why aren't you doing something about that house? But it is empty and been empty for probably 30 years. I don't see it ever coming before us or before the code board, you know. But I'm not trying to be hard on citizens, but I'm telling you, we get asked all the time, and I always say this, you can't go and look at semi-trucks parked down there. Now we've got them parking at the mall, which I don't know, is that legal?
We got to find out if they gave them approval. That's the hard part. That's private property right there.
It's private property at my house, but you still can't park 6 cars on it. So, I mean.
You would call us, Mayor. So we know you would call me if they were in your yard.
Hey, listen.
But that shopping plaza.
Hey, I brought a guy, real quick, I know we got lawyers fidgety over here. I bought the guy, I didn't buy it, the guy gave me a camper one time. It was 22 foot long. I bought it, I didn't buy it, he gave it to me, I drove it to the house, and the next morning I had a ticket about it, I was illegal. It didn't take them long to figure me out. So I said, and we do have a thing that says you get 2 days, I think it's 2 days, 24 hours or 48 hours to move it. But no, I just think we've got to maybe sit down with the staff and come up with, I'm with Commissioner Kingdom about how much. If you charge them $10 and $20, you might as well, they ain't never going to do nothing. But we have got to be able to take that tag or do something that put a stop to it. And then this businesses have the code people go find out what the problem is. It's out in our roads. They're out in our road where they're at. And everybody, we just keep letting it go on and on. The guy down on the corner of that, I think we might have bought that, and I don't know for sure, but on the corner there by Lee Road and Franklin, it's this high with grass. The other ones are where people putting businesses in places all around, no permits. You know, so I'm sorry, I just think code enforcement, we got a beautiful town. I'd like to keep it that way. I know citizens would like to keep it that way, so we've got to come up and get stronger on it. I think when you get it out and get the rules and get the fines like Commissioner King's talking about, I think we can start making them understand what we're trying to do. So, I'll let the lawyer talk now. Go ahead.
Sure. I don't know if I'll be able to shed some light on a few things, but first I want to address the game playing, where someone's caught on there having all the cars parked on the yard. They shouldn't be there, and then they get moved, and then they get put back, and we're playing a cat and mouse game. In the code right now, it says if the code inspector notifies the board or special magistrate, and the board or special magistrate so finds that a repeat violation has been committed, the board or special magistrate may issue an order requiring the violator to pay a fine not to exceed $500 for each day the repeat violation continues, beginning with the date the repeat violation is found to have occurred by the code inspector. So that's one thing. The second thing, I really like the idea of garnishing rents. I do, and I'll need to research this. It may be that we have to take the existing, well, the procedure is that when the board or the special magistrate issues an order assessing fines, once that is recorded with the comptroller, that then becomes a lien on both the personal property and the real property of the violator. I do not know whether we have to get that reduced to a final judgment in order to then get a writ of garnishment. That may be the process, but I'm going to confirm that. That was a really good thought. The last item, and just there was there's a lot moving on, going on here, but the $5,000, and let me find the language on that, but it is here it is. If a code enforcement board finds the violation to be irreparable or irreversible in nature, it may impose a fine not to exceed $5,000 per violation. So that might be a case where, let's say you have some landmark, protected, beautiful live oak that someone just tears down. That's irreparable. That tree cannot be replaced, for 100 years or 200 years. So that would be an example where you would apply a $5,000 fine. Appreciate the thoughts.
One more quick thing. And even with what he's talking about with the fines on the parking, how about the fines on these commercial places where we charge them $250, why not charge them $500 a day? Up the fines, we're gonna make them understand what we're trying to talk about.
Yeah.
Because I know these people they don't care. These commercial places, they don't care. Make the fine where it is gonna hit their
That's,
payroll.
Mayor, if I could, that was exactly the purpose of this item, was to have this dialogue, we have an opportunity moving forward to make a statement about taking care of our community. And that's what I was looking specifically for direction on, is, and then we'll be bringing those back,
But like he said,
codification
put it higher on the commercial.
necessary. But we already, as Rick said, we have a lot of tools in the code already that were not being used. So I wanted to seek an affirmation from the commission to move forward in that way. And one of the items that was on the recommendations that we haven't really talked about was doing code sweeps. Those are very valuable. You have to be equitable and fair across the board when doing sweeps. But we would recommend that we start in the downtown redevelopment area first, because there are a number of noticeable repeat violations going on over there. And then by layering on the feedback that we've received from the commission tonight, that will actually enable us to move from point A, which is where we've been stuck for a very long time.
Can I ask one more thing?
Yes, sir.
The point about people committing a violation and then moving and then doing it again and all of that, that's why you're bringing up the spreadsheet.
Correct.
Because historically, you haven't tracked, so organizationally, you don't know if they are a multiple repeat offender. That's how you're going to solve that with the tracking sheet?
That is correct.
Perfect.
And hopefully eventually software.
Perfect.
And this $50 a day, you're not going to make a point. I hate to say it when we say $50 a day, you don't make a point with people.
No.
They, what, $1,000 a month, if they're not cleaning up, 1,000 doesn't mean anything to them.
Well, and
Their fees will mean something to them when it starts adding up.
that'll be standardized now with the recommendation to the code board or the magistrate will be the maximum fine.
And if we need the equipment that goes with that, then we need to look at that too. If updated, modern equipment that they can use to do this, following this stuff. I guess same as what you do in the police car where you tap in and they can get it.
Correct.
We need to know. The code people need to know.
We're going to get them some software.
I just think, we're not trying to be mean to anybody, but it ain't fair to neighbors that live by it.
No.
Well, can't be the center of good living.
Yeah, okay.
Do y'all need a motion or
Need a
just looking
motion?
for feedback tonight?
Just come back with, I guess you come back
Actually,
with
I
the
think
things
we'll
that
come
we
back
vote
with,
on that.
with the proposed procedure based on tonight's feedback. That'll be very proper to do, and
Can we
we'll
do that
go.
in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Nice job.
All right.
Yeah.
We're down to number 6. Approval of Ocoee Remembers event, November the 1st, 2025. Parks, there he is, Assistant Recreation Director, or whatever that new name is.
Parks and Leisure
Dougie.
Services.
Dougie Gaines.
Doug Gaines, Deputy Director of Parks and Leisure Services. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. We're here for discussion of the city's Ocoee Remembers event scheduled for Saturday, November 1st. For the last few years, the city has handled this event to pay tribute to the descendants of the 1920 Election Day Massacre. We've been in the early stages already of planning to try to get ahead with logistics for this year's event. Due to declining attendance over the years, we have planned a memorial wall remembrance ceremony at Unity Park, which is open to the public this year. This will be followed by a reception at the Lakeshore Center, which is invitation only for descendants and their families, plus the commission, the HRDB board members, and others that have been invited in the past. One quick note, if you look at the options that we have for both events, the Memorial Wall and the Ocoee Lakeshore Center, those are all options. And upon further discussion, we have decided to remove the caricature artist from the reception. We asked Pastor Tower of High Point Church if he'd be willing to say the invocation before the Unity Park ceremony. He agreed and was pleased with the program we developed for this year. As he and High Point Church have facilitated this event over the past several years. So he was happy with what we have done. He's probably happy that he's getting out of big work this year, too. Pastor Tower and staff also agreed that we have developed a great relationship over time with the descendants through these events. During this planning phase, we unexpectedly and without prior coordination heard from the Alliance for Truth and Justice, or ATJ, via email that they were planning their own event, including inviting the descendants to the Orlando Museum of Art, the Ocoee Christian Church for a service, then a ceremony at our own Unity Park. They asked the city to partner with them. We kindly let them know that we were planning our own event, but would get back with them when we had a final decision. So we're seeking direction from you to fulfill the wishes, your wishes, and staff is recommending that the Honorable Mayor and City Commission authorize staff to move forward with the Ocoee Remembers event as we proposed.
All right. We can have a little discussion before we do it, or we can have a motion to do it what staff recommends.
I have a question.
Okay.
Do you have any guidance or insight into what the definition of partner, the offer to partner with the ATJ was? And has the HRDB discussed that at all? Are they aware of that? Did they have feedback or anything for you?
Well, the HRDB is no longer handling events since they were condensed. It's all city events.
Yeah, okay.
So we've done that for the last 3 years. They did not give a definition of what partnering means, but they had an entire program already set and done. So they ended at our Unity Park, and we said, hold up, wait a minute, we're doing our own event here.
And is that on, it mentioned Sunday, is that on the 2nd? So we're going to be.
No, it's Saturday the 1st, and they were also planning theirs on Saturday the 1st.
Okay, this says, oh, that's the history. Got it, thanks. Never mind. I saw November 2nd there, and I didn't know if they were doing.
Yeah, they just emailed us out of the blue, and
I like what you come up with. I think that's a good process in the church. I talked to Pastor before too, and he's all in favor of that.
yes, he is.
So, I think it's our duty to do this, do the one, I think. I feel that way. So.
They're more than free to join us after their service at the Ocoee Christian Church.
Yeah. All right. So.
I'm in favor of what we're doing with the adjustments you've made. If people want to attend ATJ events, that's their choice, but we as a city are planning our events and our park and our Lakeshore Center. I don't know if anyone else has any more comments, but I'll be happy to make that motion to approve what they're doing.
I do have a comment. When we started doing this in 2020, most of you know I wasn't pleased with how it turned out. I was not pleased, and I was very boisterous about how it turned out. But from where we've come from then to now, we have actually made leaps and bounds, and I am proud of what we've done to memorialize and recognize the descendants of the Ocoee massacre. So with, I guess the Alliance of Truth and Justice coming in and wants to do their own thing without, they created a whole program without even, consulting with us. So I agree with what we have in place. It looks good, and we're moving forward with this. So I agree with that. Let's stick with what we got. And if they want to, contribute some money and come in, in second place and say, hey, we'll follow your lead, then fine. But other than that, let's stick with what we have and let's move forward with what the program that we've already put together.
All right.
If you want to make that motion, I'll second it, because I think what we've done is appropriate and very, very honorable. It's a
And if
memory,
they
memories.
want to use a facility or something and we want to help them do that, we can do that later or something.
Yeah.
For a private event.
Yep.
Absolutely. So I will make that motion that we move forward with the program as it stands.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Oliver to go with the city's proposed November the 1st.
I'll second
Yeah.
it.
I'll have a second.
Seconded by Commissioner Scott Kennedy. Any more discussion? Let's vote.
I'm pleased.
Motion carries unanimous with Commissioner Firstner out.
Thank you.
Okay. Comments from commissioners. Commissioner Oliver.
Yeah. One of the things, we had Habitat for Humanities come before us a few months back to talk about their Restore program. I know they've had some hiccups over the past few months with the funding. I believe their funding is back in place, and now they have openings for individuals, homeowners with older homes that may need some repainting. The Restore program allows you to fill out an application with Habitat for Humanities, which is right in Winter Garden. It allows for painting, minor painting, landscaping, weatherizing your home, and some minor repairs. So that program is now open, and they're accepting applications for homeowners that may have older homes, or you may have elderly homeowners that just cannot get this work done. And they can call Habitat for Humanities at 407-905-0406. That number again is 407-905-0406. I had the opportunity to participate and actually attend the comp plan meeting we had a few weeks ago, and I must say, looking at the comp plan that we have right now in place, the proposed comp plan that's going to be coming for us, as I mentioned, the comp plan 2045, it is an excellent plan. If you have not had the opportunity to take a look at that, once this is proposed, please go to our website. I think it's going to probably be on our website. Take a look at that plan, because there's one thing that I had been talking about for years is a vision and a mission for the city. This comp plan actually identifies a vision for our city, and it also establishes a mission as to how we're going to get things done over the next few years. So please, if you have an opportunity, look at this plan. I think it's something you'll be proud of, be proud to look at, and I'm very proud of that comp plan as we went through that meeting a few weeks ago. I'm also going to continue to harp on this traffic light thing at McCormick and Popka Vineland Road. I'm requesting a copy of the approval that we made. They stated, I think it was the developer, along with the county, they say that light would actually be installed at 50% of capacity of that community at that corner. They're well over 50% right now, because they're already selling in the last phase of that subdivision. So I would like to get a copy of that. I would like to hold the developer and the county accountable for putting that light up. It's a dangerous intersection, and we really need to get that light installed. So if you can get me a copy of that plan, I'll go and put it back into the developer's face, as well as the county, and say, hey, this is what you said, and we need you to hold up your end of the bargain.
We'll send a copy out to the commission, and the county's been provided it, and I spoke to Byron, and he's looking into it right now and should be getting us an answer about schedule, timing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, awesome. So keep in mind, I'm going to keep talking about this until we get something in concrete,
No,
some
it's
dates
good.
from them. And the last but not least, all I have is my last comments. And it says, challenges, a challenge are like gifts that forces us to search for a new center of gravity. Do not fight them, just find a new way to stand. That's all I got.
All right, before I go to you, I'm gonna read.
There you go.
I'm tongue.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
Well, first of all, we have the Florida League of Annual Conferences at Signia by Hilton, Orlando Bonnet Creek in Orlando on August the 14th through the 16th. All right, who's going? Anybody? I know you and I do, because we're on the board. Huh? It's the League of Cities Annual Convention on August the 14th through the 16th.
I'll be taking my granddaughter to college.
Oh, that's a good thing. Also, we need the voting delegate now. I usually do it as the mayor, so it's up to y'all to decide.
I'll make that motion to make you the delegate. That's wonderful.
Sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Kennedy. We need a vote on this, I guess, okay. Sure.
I don't have to get up for that.
All right, motion carries. The other things, I'll read off this mayor announcement. June events, Cookies and Milk with a Cop, Summer Series. Story time will be held on Fridays, June the 27th and July the 11th and 25th from 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., West Oaks Library Branch. Registration is required. Visit ocoee.org or the classes and events page on the Orange County Library System website to register. July events. July the 4th of July, block party and lakefront fireworks. Friday, July the 4th, 5:30 p.m. through 9 p.m. Fireworks at 9:15. Block party on McKee Street to include live music, rides, vendors, and food trucks. Fireworks to follow on Start Lake at Bill Breeze Park. Family Recreation Day, Saturday, July the 19th, 11 a.m. through 2 p.m. Jim Beach Center, 1820 A.D. Mims Road, hosted by Greater Vision Resources for a back-to-school bash filled with food, fun, and entertainment for the whole family. Man, last year they were packed up there. Ocoee Police Teen Academy, July the 21st through the 24th, 9 a.m. through 3 p.m., Ocoee Lakeshore Center. Registration is required. Visit ocoee.org to register. Participants are required to be between 13 and 18 years old with no criminal history and must have transportation. Other restrictions may apply. Commissioner Wilson,
You missed one.
where is it? I'm gonna let you have that one.
Oh, you
I
let
know,
me,
yeah. I knew you was gonna bring that up.
I guess we kind of compete here as to who's going to have the comments for the month of what's going on. July, we're not going, the meeting for July, let me check that here. July 1st
Yep.
is canceled.
Cancel.
So save your energy and come to July 4th celebrations. The other thing is, this Saturday I stopped at the Casting with a Cop event they had down here at the lake. And it was really neat to see so many families down there. They had a great turnout. And again, there's a lot of opportunities within the city of Ocoee that are fun, family-centered, that are great to attend. So please watch, as the mayor mentioned, a lot of them that are happening coming up. And also there's flyers in the lobby here that tell you all the events that's happening. And again, over the summer and throughout the year, our different departments run wonderful events that are family-friendly. So please attend. I think that's all that I have to say.
Okay.
You gave me one.
Hey, gotta help, a little bit of help here. Commissioner Kennedy.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank Commissioner Oliver for his comments regarding Ocoee Remembers. And I want to say to former Commissioner Aegis Hart, I think that prayer that you keep making is working. Because I sat on the HRDB, I joined the HRDB right after 2020. And there was a lot of disagreement about the program and what was going on. And we didn't do a good job of disagreeing without being disagreeable all the time. And I played a very active role. I actually volunteered for the subcommittee for Ocoee Remembers, and then when I became a commissioner, proposed a lot of the changes and reforms to the HRDB. And I'm just very pleased, and I want to say thank you for recognizing that I think we do have both of those, the event and separating it, and just the status of the HRDB where they should be, and it feels good. And the only thing I know was an issue last year when we unveiled the memorial wall, was there was some confusion about whether that event was public or private, and I think this event is going to be public. And I would just encourage you, if you haven't been over to Unity Park and seen the memorial, and if you want to come out to that event, it's actually a really touching, I don't know what to say, it's just it's something you should do. And you should learn the facts of what happened, and more importantly, appreciate what we've done since and what this city has become, and particularly what it is today. And I think the unity that we do have today is outstanding, and everyone in the city is a part of that, so you should participate. The only other thing I want to talk about, less heady subject, thank you very much for the financials on Forest Lake Golf Club. I've already dissected them and have a lot of feedback for staff, but this is tremendous. And for us to see where the money's going, where it's being spent, and that there actually are profits there to recover our money is fantastic. I'm very excited. I want to say thank you for that. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. I went out to the ground opening of the backyard last week before I went out of town. That place has been packed all the time out there, so I will tell you, take your little fan with you, though, because it is hot. But they've got a great setup out there, and they're super nice. They have food trucks, you get the food, and then they have other things you can buy out there. But it was a packed crowd. The chamber was there also, so it should be in the paper this week. I didn't get a chance to look yet, but they did a great job with it. The other thing is, I'm gonna do a little personal thing here. My family's my son passed away a couple weeks ago, and I just want to thank the city of Ocoee and some of the people not even in the city, that the respect and the kindness that they did. It is a warm heart feeling to have people that'll call you and say things to you and send flowers, and the flowers just let you remember. But the main thing I want to say is this town is why I love living here, because of what they did and what they've been doing is addressing to me and my family about my son. It is it's a hard thing to go through, and it makes you want to just kind of not do anything for a while, but with the people of Ocoee and surrounding area, with what their comments were, it makes it worth you can handle it and keep going. So I just want to say thank you, and especially to the city for their thoughts and stuff. So I just want to say God bless you to the city and the people that send that comments. All right, that's it. Thank you.